Welcome to yet another set of Like It or Not podcast or episode or whatever. So today we are going to talk about what are we going to talk about again? Yeah, how we how do we pick up new programming language? So here's the usual background of how we learn new language, right? So because every few years there'll be like new programming languages that are hot, and for some reason maybe job requirements or anything, we might need to pick them up quickly to accomplish something. So we just want to share with you guys like how do we pick up new framework, be in new programming language, things like that, right? So it's not a matter of you one being experienced or being a novice, right? Everyone will need to do these kind of things once every few years, because like tech is changing very quickly, right? So recently I just like how do I say, like force, or maybe like we are required to pick up like Spring Boot framework, which is in Java.
Java?
So yeah,
Mm-hmm.
so of course I learned Java in school, right? Java is pretty, how do I say, like traditional language,
Common.
but
Yeah.
yeah, very common. But the framework itself isn't. So like we just need
Mm.
to like learn how to pick up things. Like how does it work? And most importantly, like how does it accomplish things, the same thing that we did in previous environment. We just need to like replicate it
Yep.
in the same like as this framework. So Lai, why don't you start first on how you pick things up? Yep.
Yeah, I guess I can start with a little bit of background. So
Mhm.
I started off with a database language. It's
Mhm.
called I forgot what it's called. Mumps. So it's
How
a
to spell it?
very
MUN?
MUMPS.
Okay, mums. Okay.
So, yeah, so it's a very niche kind of language that's mostly used in uh, healthcare IT.
Mhm.
So it's really something like I can't think of anything similar in terms of the syntax. It's quite unique. So let's just pretend it's a backend language, and then I move on to a bit more, I guess, mainstream languages like
Mhm.
Python,
Mhm.
Java, and then recently front end languages or frameworks like React, Angular, React Native sort of things.
Mhm.
So I did have a lot of experience in terms of picking up new skills in a way.
Mhm.
So I guess my approach is a bit, mm, I wouldn't say in the minority, but I feel that way because what I see most people do is they look up for tutorials online or
Mhm.
YouTube videos or
Yeah, that's
even
what I do. Yeah.
yeah, or even go to a boot camp or sign up for a short course on the language itself or the framework. But I find myself more comfortable, uh, I guess, going straight at the code. So I find myself learn the best if I am involved in a project with the new language or framework, and then start working on fixing minor bugs. So just to get a feel of how things work, um, and also what is the project structure.
Mhm.
Yeah, I guess my approach is a bit I guess non-traditional in a way.
Yeah. But I think usually what happens is like one won't take the initiative of, oh,
Mm.
suddenly you wake up and say, oh, today I want to learn Swift. Let's say I'm just picking a random
Yep.
language. Like I won't wake up and usually what happens is we wake up and then like boss tells you, oh, there's this project that needs to be done in Swift because customer wants it to be done in Swift for whatever reason, because like sky is blue, let's say.
Mm-hmm.
Then like then yeah, we have, because we need to eat, right, and that's why we listen to our bosses, and we like do what we need to do, right, to get ourselves fed. So uh that's when we go and Google, and like usually one learns faster this way, compared to like if one like have a natural initiative, then usually like for that case usually I would take my own sweet time. Like I think with recently I picked up deep learning, because it's a buzzword, like I get it, I do get attracted by things like this, but yeah, if that's the reason that I do that, usually I will take way longer time compared
Mm-hmm.
to like being forced to uh, to learn new projects. So yeah,
Yeah,
but
I guess
yeah,
that's the motivation part.
yeah, yes,
So
yes,
if we are
definitely,
talking about motivation, I guess it's either, like you say, kind of forced circumstances.
yeah,
So
yep,
like when you join a new job, they use
yeah,
a different stack, or you are moving on to a new project and the client wants to do something else.
mm,
Like for example, switching from back end to front end, then
mm,
obviously you need to learn about the front
mm,
end framework.
mm. Yeah, so usually like I think I'm slightly off topic just now, so like let me adjust myself back to the topic. So what I do is usually we like it's like pretty similar, like like you do go Google, like you use Stack Overflow, maybe you read some tutorial page, but I think the main difference would be like how one accomplishes the same thing. Let's say like I think I'm not sure what language has like there's only one way to do the thing, like Ruby, or I forgot what's the name of what's
No,
the
Ruby has lots of way.
yeah,
Ruby is
I forgot what's the tagline is like there only one way to do, like one way to do things. So like so
mm,
like one won't, like if you have like many, usually if that language has many ways of doing the same thing, there must be one or two ways, like I mean one of the styles where things are not done the right way. So I think I forgot what's the name of the language where like you can only do it one way, right. But yeah, uh, yeah. But the most
I guess
important thing, yeah, go on.
you're talking about whether the language or the framework is highly opinionated.
Yeah, I'm not sure what's the approach of the language. Yeah, but I forgot. Yeah, but never mind. So my point is, right. So the difference between like experienced people and let's say like new people, right, is like they do the same thing. They go Google, they do Stack Overflow, but I think the main difference is like how does one copy and paste stuff, like I mean like
Mm.
that's the very big difference. So like I remember one
Mm.
friend told me that he always tells us that it's okay, it's very easy, like I just copy paste codes from Stack Overflow or some website, but but we all know that the difference is like he copy and paste the right things at the right way. That's
Mhm.
the very big difference, right? I mean, between like uh, yeah, novice and experienced developers. So yeah,
I
yeah.
think
You want
I
to
think
add?
it's
Yeah,
yeah. I just want to add that
yeah.
yes, you can copy and paste in many occasions,
Mm,
but some frameworks may have like different, I guess, mindset or
mm,
paradigm.
mm,
So it's not always straightforward in terms of, I guess, adapting your existing knowledge to a
mm,
new language
mm,
because they are different, obviously.
mm.
So one of the things that is challenging to, I guess, keep learning new frameworks is that sometimes you may need to unlearn something
Yep,
in
yep.
order to learn new things, and unlearning something is
Very
very
hard.
difficult.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I once tried to pick up Node.js. So as
Mm.
you know, Node.js is asynchronous.
Yep.
It has a asynchronous programming paradigm. So but the thing is, I'm so used to like what's the
Yep.
term, like synchronous or procedural. So like you need
Yeah.
to do like, let's say like the recipe say like you need to do 1, 2, 3, 4, and then like you really need to do like 1, 2, 3, 4 in that order. But in
Mhm.
Node.js, right, the advantage is like because it's asynchronous, so you can do things faster. So, but I just uh, I
Yeah.
simply couldn't get used to it. I did Stack Overflow it and found that you can turn on the synchronous flag or something. But like I knew it is not the right way, because even if you can do the things that you want to do, right,
Mhm.
it's not in the spirit of Node.js.
Yep.
It's
Yep.
definitely not in the spirit of Node.js. Like if you want to do things in a synchronous manner, you might as well use other languages. Like you don't use Node.js. So like, yeah, that's a thing like that. Like sometimes people just have to want to make it work, so they don't care about like whether it's the right way to do things. They just care about, I just
Mhm.
want to get this done before the deadline, or I just want to get paid. Like things like that. So but
Yep.
yeah, but in the end, yeah, try not to do that if you can. Yeah.
I guess the how should I put it? The more experienced you are,
Mhm.
the easier it is to get used to other syntax.
Yep.
But the concepts are, I think, the reverse. It's harder to, I guess, get used to new concepts because you are
Mm.
so used to, what you have known. But
Yeah.
the syntax itself, because they are quite similar in
Mhm.
most cases,
Mhm.
so I don't think it's too much of a problem. But
Yep.
like you said, the concept like is asynchronous or even functional programming, that you are if you are so used to object oriented programming, then functional programming is really something else.
Yeah. And then the easier things will be like, let's say like, how do you do let's say, I'm used to do for loop in PHP, now I want to do for loop in
Mhm.
Java. That one is easy. You just
Mhm.
Google like for loop Java, like,
Yep.
and there are tons of ways. Either when to do like for each, or you want to do the old C style way where like you reference the array by the
Mhm.
bracket thing, like, but there's no right or wrong, just that maybe for each loop is synthetically more pleasing to look at, but other than that, I feel that it's like, maybe you guys can correct me, but I feel like it's, and yeah, it's the functional wise is the same thing, right? Yeah.
Mhm. I guess
So
I guess I should also bring out the opposite viewpoint of my approach, which
sure.
is to just jump right in.
Mhm.
So the opposite would be to go through the documentation of the language of the framework, and then start to learn how to use the basics, like you said, loops or other, I guess maybe like exception or exception
Yeah.
handling.
Yep.
So that is just to get you up to speed with the syntax, but
Yep.
the concepts itself, that's something else to I guess to grasp.
Yeah.
Uh, I would say I'm still struggling with like learning new concepts because I'm so used to what I currently know.
Mhm.
But my approach would be to just to still go right in,
Mhm.
but with a bit more experimentation.
Mhm. So
So just
yeah, yeah, go on, yeah.
yourself some time
Mhm. Yep.
to not only learn the syntax, but also I guess the most important thing is to identify a style that suits you.
Mhm. Mhm. Yeah, sometimes like in my opinion, sometimes uh, it's not really the style that matters, just that how you use that style. Like it's like
Mm.
like it's like kung fu has a lot of different kinds of, I don't know, face, or style, or whatever term you want
Yeah.
to use it. But usually it's not a matter of style that you use, is usually like finding the style that suits you, and then like yeah, and just making sure you are using the style the right time, and the right way. That is the most important thing. Or more often than not, style doesn't matter. It's more that like how you use the style, or whether like the style suits you or not, things like that. Yeah. But of course, obviously, I'm not a kung fu expert, so that's all. That's the deepest I can go on this one.
So
Uh,
so do you share my approach, or do you have your own?
Yeah, I do share your approach, but there are some, like some programming languages, like I find Python is not bad in terms of documentation. Well, I mean the
Mm-hmm.
official documentation, okay, not, but for
Yep, yep.
JavaScript, I do read the Java. I forgot the name, like the official, like it's like what MSN or MSDN. What's do you know the right term, like
MDN,
yeah, MDN, like
Mozilla Developer Network.
yeah, when I read that, right, it's like I got even more confused, like after reading that
Mm.
documentation. So like, I usually end up just go to the, I forgot that, is it the W3, like the
W3C.
HTML? Yeah, W3C. Yeah, where
Uh,
they do a better job at documenting the thing. But I don't think they are the official guys, like, but they are reputable but not official. Yeah, that's what I want to say. Yeah.
I
Mm.
usually just look at what's the top result in Google. So
Yeah, sure. Yeah, MDN does come on top sometimes, but when I read that, like,
yeah, yeah,
I got even more. Usually, I just go to maybe like W3 school. I forgot what's the term, but it's
yeah, yeah.
a green.
W3C school, something like that. Yeah, I
Yeah,
know what you mean.
yeah. They do like for CSS, HTML, as well as JavaScript. So like, they are developing Java, and they have a place where you can demo the things. Like I can,
Yep, yep.
yeah, if you, yeah, I can show you to you guys. But yeah, anyway.
So so is this how you learn like the front end frameworks, like React or I don't know what do you do in terms of front end? Because I know uh, you are, I guess, quite deep in the back end or at least lower level stuff.
Yeah, actually, when I did it, did the React native game engine with you, right?
How
It
did
was
you start?
mostly Google, and then like like because we specifically we need to do what, like the React game engine, I think the
Yep.
term, yeah. So we did when we started with React game engine. I started googling up, like how does the physics work, and then like we also did some. We started with the toast notification, but as we went on, like we modified the toast slightly to maybe we ended up showing uh, the bubble or something. I forgot. Like we started off with stores, right, where we will show notification if we hit an
Hmm.
object or something. But I think we ended up like deviating quite far because you modified it a lot, right? So like you modified
Yeah.
it to, I don't know, like show things, like yeah, it was way more graphical than the normal toast. For your information, toast is just like in Android, right, where you have like just a very small notification text on
Hmm.
yeah, in the usually in the middle of the screen, right? So yeah, so like you wouldn't know that we actually started off with those once you see that it just maybe we animated like some object, something like that. Yeah, like which is not really like you wouldn't know that we started off with those, like, so
So you brought out a lot of things there, but how did you do you learn, do you, I guess, know React Native before this?
no, not really. That the game was when I started with it, and that's why you can see why I was quite slow with React Native in the beginning. Yeah,
No,
I wasn't experienced with JavaScript to begin with. Yeah.
I think React or React Native itself is um, the learning curve is quite steep
Mhm.
for someone who is not, I guess, experienced in other front end frameworks.
Mhm.
So it's quite natural to take some time to get used to it. Like,
Mhm.
I think the most mm, challenging part, or at least one of the most challenging parts,
Mhm.
is the life cycle events.
Mhm. Yep.
So when a component starts, like what happens, and when it ends, what happens. So that part takes some time to go through.
That one is
And
specific to React game engine, right? Yeah.
no, it's more specific to React Native, the
Okay. Okay.
framework. But React Native is a hybrid framework that allows you to build Android and iOS apps
Mhm.
with just one code base.
Mhm.
Well, they say with just one code base, but sometimes you need to modify some native code, but
Yep.
most of the time you don't.
Mm-mm. It's okay. That's interesting. Yeah, forgot. Yeah.
So did we answer the topic or no? I feel like we talk a lot, but maybe not so much on like
Yeah,
how we approach new languages.
maybe we didn't really. But I think, but coming
But
back
my approach is
to,
just go
yeah,
right in. Sorry.
to summarize, right? So
Yeah, you go.
like, to summarize, right? So like of course, you can start off with Google. You can Google. Like, it depends, right? Let's say like if you already know some other languages, and then you just want to, or let's say, how do I look? It's sometimes like if you want to accomplish something very specific. Let's say like I want to know how to do for loop in that new language, then you can simply Google it. But it's for us, right? Like we know nothing about. No, I know nothing about React Native, so or the React Native game engine. That's when, we need to maybe like it's probably wiser to read up to YouTube tutorials, like how to manage like life cycle, and then like things like that, and then like how to like maybe clean like the objects that is off your screen permanently. Like that is very important as well. Because I didn't realize that, like because I thought, oh, I no longer code in C, right? So I don't need to like delete things, right? I just need to I can forget about it. Yeah. But yeah, I was wrong, right? So that's why. Oh, how come my game lags after some time? So that's why I realized. Oh, you need to really delete the item like from the list once that is off the screen. Right? You need to calculate like when the stuff is off your screen, and then like you need to know how to like to delete them. Like yeah, that's a new thing. And because we were creating it for game, like we didn't really get like that, like the concept of life cycle, right? Because we do I
Not
do
so
not
much.
have, yeah, I don't have experience of like or needing to render it. Like you're supposed to like you're supposed to call that code, that piece of code, maybe the render code, like maybe like every frame, like for every frame. So if you have like 60 frames a second, you will call it every like once, like 1 per 60 per second, like then you call that, run again, run again, run again. So yeah, that's a very new concept that like I don't get. I need some time to get used to. But I think
Mm.
we did okay
Yeah,
considering our
if you do say so yourself.
yeah, you did most of the coding, right? I just did maybe like at best like 20%, right? Yeah, I didn't do a lot, right? So but I do get the concept, yeah, which is very interesting. Definitely, like it's not something that you experience in other language, like yeah, maybe other platform like normal C or things like that. Yeah, maybe I'm wrong. Yeah, I don't know. I'm always wrong. So,
Well, so what you were saying was, if you are completely new, then
mm,
start with the documentation.
yeah,
If you are familiar with parts of it or uh the concepts, then you can just go right in. Is that
mm,
right?
yeah, pretty much. Even for the recent like Spring Boot, right? I just read a 3 hour YouTube video. But I think even that YouTube video, like 3 hour, even that 3 hour YouTube video assumes that like you are pretty at least you know how Java work, how the
Mm.
syntax, the OOP, like because in Java it's
Yeah.
always OOP, so you will need some basic knowledge in Java. But other than that, yeah, I mean starting out with a 2 to 3 hours tutorial is more organized rather than like
Mm.
or how to do for loop in Java, and then as you code, then you realize that maybe you need to call some maybe you need a factory pattern. Sometimes you use
Yeah.
like a different programming style, right? Then I think it's not that good. Like you should slowly like take more time, to treat. But that is easier said than done, because most of the time, like if the boss tells you to accomplish thing in one day or
Yeah.
whatever, then that usually we go like chaos and do the KO way, and
Yeah.
then just Google like how to do specific things. Yeah. But if you do have like maybe a day, like just take a full day and read through. It might be
Oh.
rewarding. Yeah, yeah. Maybe it's rewarding to do that instead. Yeah.
Mm.
So yeah, to summarize it, yeah. So the first way is always read YouTube, maybe like tutorials that you like, right? It's up to
Well,
you, right? Yeah.
most
Yeah.
I think the most important is the documentation of
Yep.
the language or
Yep.
framework.
Yep. Yep. Then secondly, yeah, if possible, like do try to read the official documentation, right? Do try, because like some like Python, right? So like they have a very good documentation. So like you will know like, oh, what does it return? Like they tell you how to use it the correct way.
Mm-hmm.
Because even Python has a lot of ways to do one thing, but
Yep.
they
Yep.
they will tell you like when to use, it's like how to read a file, right? So you can do
Yep.
it a very manual way, or like you can use fopen or things like that, and then like you use loop to read things, but like the most stylish way is just like with something open, then you just
Yep.
read every line, which is way cleaner. So uh, and yeah, they tell you like when to use A, when to use B, they will tell you. But
Mm.
if that is not possible, like maybe you can refer to like renowned sites, right? Or maybe like W3 schools. Uh, Stack Overflow is not bad too, but make sure you choose the one with like a lot of votes. That is generally
Mm.
quite safe, yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
Don't take the one with like maybe like 2 or 3 votes, maybe. Maybe you take it more
But
with a grain of salt, yeah.
but in the end, you still need to try it. So
Yeah, sure. Yeah, but and the good thing about programming is like if when you first start, right, you can always experiment and try, and it's okay to fail. Like, it's not if you're like a doctor and you are a surgeon, you cannot just find a random people to try your hands on. Right,
mm.
that's a good
Yep.
thing about programming, right? Yeah.
And you cannot
So
restart the life.
yeah. Yeah, so like that's a good thing about programming, yeah. But so yeah. Another thing would be, it depends on, like how good your programming skills are, right? It also depends on, if you are pretty, experienced with other. Usually, if you're more experienced with other programming platforms, or your experience in coding in the first place, like it's easier to get used to the new paradigm, yeah, new platform or framework.
Mm.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So,
Of
but
course.
development, yeah, it takes time, right? It takes time, yeah. It takes
Mhm.
time. Yeah. So like it's okay. Just it's okay to take your time in, getting more experience. Right? It's okay. So, what else you wanna add?
Not much. Pretty much just I guess like you said, more practice and also be ready to accept new ideas because it's
Yeah.
not always easy.
Yep.
And yeah, just try things out. Like
Yeah.
if you are curious about something, just go for it if you have the time.
Yeah. So and we always tell you that like just like in music, like musicians will tell you like, oh, practice, practice, practice. Like, it's same thing
Yeah,
in
same thing with
yeah,
almost
you go
everything.
practice, yeah. Yeah. But again, like I just want to mention that practice makes permanence, right? Not perfect, because if you
Mm.
have been doing it the wrong way, if you have been doing it the wrong way for, let's say, for a long time, right? It's even worse than
Yeah, yeah.
yeah, it's worse than
Why
yeah,
it's so hard to
yeah.
unlearn
So
the habits.
yeah. So again, yeah, practice different things, like yeah, so yeah, practice. That's how like I don't agree with the term practice makes perfect, because like if you practice the wrong thing, then yeah, yeah, it's permanent, but it's definitely permanent. If you practice a lot, it
Well,
makes, yeah.
if you practice it wrongly, then you are perfectly wrong.
Yeah, that's what I say. And it's more permanent. Yeah, that's what I say. Practice
Yeah,
makes permanence. So, yeah. I think we have summarized enough. So,
I
yeah.
guess.
Yeah. It's been great. Like to have you guys listen to us. Talking random things. And I hope you find it helpful, or at least entertaining in terms of wasting your time. But anyway, yeah, this is Lye and Kit signing out. Yep. Talk to you
Bye bye.
later. Bye.